Welcome to the Global Wellness HQ family of podcasts. We are your international headquarters for resources and ideas and insight in relation to the 9 elements of holistic wellness. Join us as we interview local and international wellness experts and learn how you can implement and improve one element or dimension of wellness at a time. Our experts will share their practical tips on wellness in one of these core areas: emotional, intellectual, occupational, physical, environmental, financial, spiritual, social, or habitual. We created our family of podcasts as a resource for anyone who is looking to integrate the 9 elements of holistic wellness into their daily lives. Welcome to the show. Welcome, everyone. I'm excited today. I have my new friend Marco Torres with me. Marco is joining us from Mexico City. He normally resides in Florida. But, Marco, why don't you tell my audience a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Cool. Thanks for having me. I look forward to this chat, Jeff. So I have been an entrepreneur most of my life. I've been in the corporate world as well for a decade or so. If you happen to be watching this as a video, you can see I'm no spring chicken. So I've been around the block a while. I've been an internet marketer since the mid 90s. I got in very early on adapter and internet marketing and email marketing in the early days, and everybody had AOL accounts. I had a bunch of servers in my garage and was, heck, a spammer before they called it spam. But so I've seen the evolution of the internet over the, since 20, 30 years already. And it's come a long way. I've generated over $1 billion in sales for my companies or the companies I've worked for and clients, and online anyway. And so that's been a little bit. Hopefully, I have with that some knowledge to share with your community. My most recent project that I've loved participate in is the company I founded called Marketing Boost. And with Marketing Boost, we provide travel incentives to business owners. We serve business owners and entrepreneurs around the globe, giving them what I call the wow, surprise, and delight factor, the travel incentives they can use to help enhance whatever their call to action is.
I love it. And just for my audience, we are going to dive deep on incentives versus discounting. We're going to have some fun today. And Marco and I think we've exchanged a couple of messages, and I love his philosophy. So let's jump right in. Marco, I'm going to start with the hard questions. I'm going to hit hard, and you and I are going to have some fun with them. First question right out of the gate that's going to annoy some people and it's going to intrigue others. And we're going to talk to those who it's going to intrigue. Why do value add incentives beat discounting prices?
Well, uh, discounting is obviously something that many of us are tempted to do to, stand out from the crowd or to earn some new business. You kind of want to, you're tempted to just go directly to discounting and think that that's the end all solution. Of course, maybe even worse, you might want to be known as the cheapest on the block. And then that sounds good for a little while until somebody else decides they'll be cheaper than you. And now you're in a race for the bottom. And you really need to know your numbers when you're discounting as well, because, let's say you have a 20% net profit after all expenses. If you have a 20% net profit and you give a 10% discount, well, you just gave up 50% of your profit margin. And so you would have to double sales. That discount promo you're doing would have to double your normal sales volume to put you in the same position or the same profit margin you were prior to the discounted promotion. So it's a mistake often made by way too many of us. And so you need to be careful when you discount and what you discount. Maybe it's something that makes sense. Your stuff, it's items that are not moving off the shelf, and you might as well discount them to get rid of them. But if it's products and services with, expenses or hard costs that you might have, those discounts can really hurt in the end.
I love it. And I want to underline a couple of points there because I don't believe enough business owners know their numbers with any degree of accuracy. So if you're discounting, you literally run the risk of slitting your own throat. I have seen businesses fold faster because of discounting than pretty much any other pricing strategy. Let's talk about quality of customer, because I have a feeling you have a few few thoughts on this, as do I. But when you discount versus when you add incentives, what's the difference in the quality and caliber of the customer that comes to you and loyalty?
Well, that's another, yeah, a good question because you're also creating a teaching your own community or your own customer base to not take action until your next promo round or your next discount round. And so again, you're setting the expectation that okay, we'll wait for the next promo before I take action with these folks, and versus adding additional value. And that additional value, when we're talking about incentives or value, uh, that can be a variety of things. Create your own widgets, add additional widgets of your own, add additional months. Let's say you have a membership program. You might say, hey, if you pay for an annual membership, you get the 13th, the 14th month free. Add more value versus discounting. That's been proven. So a lot of university studies have shown that folks are responsive more to additional value than discounts, even something like buy one get one offers, right? Or grocery stores where I shop here in Florida, you walk into the grocery stores and the first area right in the front is a bunch of big barrels or baskets with BOGO offers, buy one get one. And they accomplish two things with those. One, you end up buying stuff you didn't even want, or wasn't on your shopping list, but now your impulse buy you pick up too. And the pricing is genius. I mean, the day before, that jar of mayo that's now buy one get one was $2.95, and now you can get two for $5.78.
Yeah.
So they almost doubled the price. Maybe it's a little bit discount, but they ended up getting you to buy two of what you didn't even want in the first place. So they got more revenue out of you and added value versus just offering 10% off the jar of mayo. They doubled it up. You bought two jars now, and they got more revenue, and they didn't discount very much at all actually. But our mind tells us it's on sale, and we impulse buy and pick up items like that. So if you are discounting, it's almost better to add that value. It's on sale because we're giving you the 13th month, the 14th month. We're adding additional bonuses. We're adding last year's course to go with this year. When you buy course A today, you get course B as a bonus. And again, you're adding your own value bonuses, or maybe you're uh, uh, partnering with colleagues, networking, like you like to point out, and seeing if you can add other people's products and services to your mix as part of the value add.
I love it. And we're going to talk about value add because personally, I think discounting is lazy. And sorry if that offends anyone, but the reality is, if you're too lazy to find out what do my customers value, all you have left is discounting. And by the way, there was a platform, I will not name names, I don't want to meet their lawyers. They specialized in helping companies discount their offering. And whether they know it or not, they successfully proved to me that people who come to you by discount are not loyal. They're demanding, they're really unrealistic expectations, and oddly, they're not likely to repurchase, which is, by the way, the whole point of growing your business is you want people to repurchase. So you and I are going to have some fun here, Marco. But I actually know more businesses that went out of business because they worked with this platform. I don't know a single one who succeeded because of working with the platform. And they
Hmm.
all got lots of tire kickers and freebie chasers, but none of them got lasting clients out of it. So let's talk about how to add value, because honestly, I could ask Marco 1,000 questions, but the most important one in my world is how do we add value? So you mentioned a couple of examples, and I'm just going to underline the one that stood out for me, and then we're going to talk about some more. If you have a course, and I would ask you, if you don't have one, why not? But if you have a course, you can throw in last year's course as an incentive. That's not a discount. You're just helping people see the value more. So, what are your favorite ways of adding value? Because honestly, Marco, I think most people don't have enough ideas in that space. So let's you and I throw some at them if that works.
Yeah, sure, good idea. Well, for one plug, want to throw in right away. Obviously, with Marketing Boost, we that's kind of what we do. And I'll kind of throw that out first, and then we can talk about ideas without Marketing Boost as well. So we provide, if I could just plug this real quick, we provide three categories of incentives that make it easy to add some value, and that is uh, we provide travel incentives, complimentary hotel stays in over 130 destinations around the world, hotel savings cards that come in increments of $1, $2, $3, and $500 that are good at 1 million hotels worldwide, and restaurant savings vouchers good at about 250,000 offers, about 100,000 participating restaurants and stuff throughout the USA and Canada. So the ideas that we come up with. But before I do that, what I mean, but when I talk about uh, incentivized marketing, a lot of people don't, grasp what do you mean by that. And
Yeah.
so I'd like to talk about two of the biggest brands in the world that people are going to recognize with when I talk about an incentive-based marketing. Would that be all right to cover those, Jeff?
Yes, and thank you because I think definitions are very important because you and I could have a great conversation and somebody else listening would be like over here and they're no, you missed the point. So let's describe incentivized marketing and then
And then, and then,
give a
and then, then
couple.
we can come up with these ideas that we talked about a moment ago.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
So for example, here's one of the biggest examples to me that always comes to mind, and that's Jeff Bezos with Amazon, one of the most successful retailers on the planet, and richest men in the world. And what did he do in 2005? He launched Amazon Prime. And we bought into Amazon Prime at $79 for the year, kind of like joining Costco or Sam's to be a VIP member of Amazon. You'd buy Amazon Prime, and he had that video content and what have you. But back then, nobody was a video streamer. We weren't into streaming video. What we were into was the incentive. Buying Amazon Prime gave us free shipping. 2-day free shipping. Today it's same day free shipping in some cases. It's amazing, right? But I mean, that changed the world. That changed all the online retailers. Everybody tries to offer free shipping today if possible. And of course, Amazon, owns the market. 70% of all online shopping starts on Amazon, or searches start there.
Yeah.
So he really cornered the market with that incentive of free shipping back in 2005. Another example that's I've been using this same incentive for decades is McDonald's with the Happy Meal. They provide families with children the bundle. We take our eye off of the price of the individual, the burger, the snack, the soda, and they combine it in a bundle. They call it the Happy Meal. And of course, the toy is the incentive, the seasonal Disney movie toy, or what have you, that's included. And McDonald's can they know they're generating an extra $3 to $4 billion a year by having parents select McDonald's over other fast foods because of the Happy Meal and the revenue generated by packaging it together in a bundle. So, what is your Happy Meal? That's what I kind of teach business owners. What is your adult Happy Meal? What are you packaging? How are you bundling things to help you stand out from the crowd and adding additional value versus having people start to price you or look at you as a commodity, and comparing you and price shopping you versus having selecting you for a value reason. You're providing these services and whatever it is you provide, but it stands out in a way that you're not having to discount just to get the business.
And ironically, I think if you look at McDonald's, I think they even call it a value meal, or they used to call it the extra value meal. That was their tagline. And
Mhm.
I mean, you think about it, the incremental cost of that toy, you know, those are not expensive toys. I mean, they're disposable almost, but the incremental value to McDonald's of a 30-cent toy might be an extra 3, 5, $5. But the reality is it's also, and this is the gamification of value that I love. So you and I are going to nerd out over McDonald's, but they come out with sets. And I've been that parent who's driving from location to location because the one we went to didn't have the final piece in the set. You got a kid in the back crying. It's like, it's gamification. It's, and by the way, I firmly believe, Marco, that the world's greatest salesman is a cranky kid in the back seat. Mom and dad will buy anything to keep that kid from
Yeah.
exploding, melting down, crying, whatever it is. And McDonald's recognizes that.
Yeah, isn't it amazing that there's so few have copied that? I mean, there hasn't been with all the other fast foods out there. There's not really a strong competition to that Happy Meal
Yeah.
product anywhere else.
And it's interesting because my 11-year-old, he actually likes to say, there's another chain, I will not name them, but he actually said to me, Dad, why do they hate children? And I just started laughing and I said, why? He said, because their toys are so terrible.
Hmm,
And I'm like, okay, we're going to keep that in the car between us. But I mean, that's, if anybody questions why kids make buying decisions, it's not for the flavor or the taste, it's for the toy.
exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but again, the other piece of that, I know, I used to work at McDonald's, and oddly, I think some of my best business lessons came from that. It's not just about how much more can I make on today's transaction, it's how quickly can I get you to come back.
Hmm, good point.
And
And
McDonald's does that well with that.
they sure do. They sure do, making their whatever they add to those French fries to keep you
Yep.
practically incentivized to come get some more.
Yep. And oddly, some studies have proven that fast food in general is intentionally, deliberately addictive. We won't get into that piece. That's personally, I think that's bad marketing to get your people addicted. But good marketing is to get people to be raving fans. I'd rather have a raving fan than an addict, because an addict will break my door down to steal my stuff if they can't get their fix today. So,
Well,
um,
if we only knew how to get them addicted to our products and services, but yeah, I get the point.
love it.
uh,
Now, some of my favorite ideas for adding value, and this is really, really revolutionary, and I think you'll agree with me. I ask them, what can I do to add value to you? Now, I recognize they don't always know, but one of my favorites, you mentioned courses. I don't care what product or service you offer, there's some way that somebody can enjoy what you're giving them more. And if you give them a little instructional guide to help them, um, how to get the most out of your treadmill, how to get the most out of your grocery dollar, how to get the most out of, like the delivery people figured it out with the food delivery. Here's a recipe card and here's all the ingredients. There you go. There's a meal in a box. So
mhm.
there's always some way, and that's my favorite, by the way, Marco, is how do I simplify the consumption of my product or service?
Good point. And then those could become lead generation products. So when you create that mini course, that PDF, that video training, that as you're pointing out, some sort of uh, training materials, 3 steps to the following. Here's the top 10 ways to do to purchase a home for the first time, or whatever your product and service is. Creating that your knowledge, taking your expertise and sharing it, creating some shareable PDF or white uh, anyway, you get the
Yeah.
point here.
The
And
white
then
paper is
the
my
white
favorite
paper.
tool.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The white paper. And of course, you're now to provide that to your prospects, you're going to ask them for, you're going to do campaigns and generate an email and a phone number and a name, so you can put them into your sequencing messaging flow, assuming you have that. If you don't have a CRM system that provides a good way to communicate with prospects, you need that in today's world, and set up as much automation as possible. But then you can, and then a lot of people today, one of the things that people ask me often is, well, do these lead magnets still work? And they do. People are a little shy about putting in phone numbers and emails because they don't want to get spammed to death or what have you. And that's where adding additional value, another incentive of your own, adding or using something like Marketing Boost, you can help people, give them that extra reason. Not only do I want that mini course you're offering or that video training you're providing, but you're also going to incentivize me to give you my email and phone number by giving me something else of your own, and or your using, for example, a hotel savings card, a restaurant savings voucher that you can use for Marketing Boost as an example,
Yeah.
creating gamification ideas or creating loyalty programs or creating, uh, you know, reward programs that people have to do certain, make people earn them.
Yeah.
And it's a way to keep branding yourself as well over and over to the same, you know,
And
community
that's
you're
the
building.
thing. Frequency is important. Now, one of my things I recognize, and I want your thoughts on this, is that a lead magnet is the first transaction. It's like the first date, and we're trying to get the second date. And if we don't add enough value in the lead magnet, it doesn't matter what else you have planned for date number two, you're not going to get it. Is that a fair comment, or am I being overly critical?
No, it's true. You do that, and what are you providing? Is it enough value in that lead magnet that intrigued me or that educated me more about the industry or the product or service that now I am uh, sold a little bit on your brand? You know, interested enough to want the second date. I have got more questions, and I'm beginning to believe you are the expert and the authority that can trust you for more information.
I love it. Now, I'm going to ask some questions along that line because one of my favorite lead magnets, believe it or not, is a list of companies in my industry that somebody needs to go to next. And I call it an ecosystem map. And basically, what I found, and a friend of mine calls this his dog moment because he didn't understand what I was saying. But if you're a dog walker, the value you can give to somebody is, first of all, a guide on how to take care of your pet. But the next thing is, here's the 10 experts you need in your dog's life. There's the vet, there's the groomer, there's the pet food. But that's a great way to add value because you're showing people you understand everything about them, not just I make money when I walk your dog. Well, a sick dog isn't going to be good to walk, and a dead dog doesn't need to be walked, so let's make that dog live longer and healthier, right?
Right, right. Great idea. And I think that's something very few of us are doing because we're not, and it doesn't necessarily mean you want to have a bunch of affiliate links, but then again, why not?
Yeah,
You could even be saying, here, these are the products that we recommend, and those could even be, earning you affiliate commissions.
yeah,
So if you truly believe in those other enhancing products and services, you've vetted them out already, then you're doing your client the favor of saying, look, when you get my product, this is what this is how we provide you, and so on and so
yeah,
forth. But by the way, over and above what we provide you or what you ought to get from me, here's additional, like, I love that idea. Here's 10 different experts that you ought to be getting, or 10 different services, there are 5 different services that are enhance what we provide that you should consider.
yeah.
And we've gone through we vetted them, we believe in them, they are great partners of ours. Here's their links, and boom,
And by the
you're
way, Marco, I do that with everything. My little lesson I learned once in life was to fall in love with your client and find out ways to solve their problems. And people say, "Oh, it wouldn't work in my industry," and I say, "You want to bet?" I'll give you a really mundane, boring example. We got new appliances, and what came with our washer, an instruction set on how to pick the right fabric softener, the right soap, the right bleach, and how to clean it. So we got a maintenance guide. Um, we picked it because we had confidence that we were going to get a good life out of that product. And there is no product out there that you can't provide some sort of list. And like you said, affiliate links are acceptable. There's nothing that you can put in my house that I can't somehow make better by purchasing something on Amazon. So why not have Amazon links? People who buy stoves, theoretically, they either like to cook or they want to cook. Give them a cookbook, and here's the guide to your stove, because nobody wants to read the from factory owner's manual. They want to know, okay, I'm baking a cake. What settings do I need to know?
Absolutely, good idea. And another thing that's simple to do is even with Amazon. I was talking to an Amazon sales expert the other day on my podcast, and when you're a Prime member, or have clients getting you have your products already on storage with Amazon so they can ship it. Well, when you make sales on Amazon, you as the vendor have no idea who they are. You're not getting the email client info. Amazon holds that dearly, but you could have insert material chipped in with your product with QR codes, and maybe incentivize them to activate their registration or what have you. Again, another way to use the marketing boost incentive. Register your incentive and get a chance to win 5 nights in Cancun, and now you're using a QR code, getting people to land on your page, acquiring that customer information, and maybe, as you said, providing them with that the next list. Hey,
Yep.
activate this and get the top 10 products that enhance this product you bought from me, or the cookbook that comes with your product, or yeah, I love it. Great ideas there.
Well, and don't tell Bezos, the other Jeff, but don't tell Bezos. I help people. One of my things is we publish books for a business to help them help their clients. And first thing and last thing in the book is a QR code linking to, you bought the book on Amazon. Congratulations. Come and get this bonus material, and it can be as simple as here's the missing chapter or here's the action guide. But um, we let Bezos and his team handle fulfillment. I mean, they're a great fulfillment partner, and everybody gets a book with the front and back page. Scan the QR code and come and get an incentive. And sometimes the incentive is come watch a video where the author talks about the next step beyond the book.
Huh,
But
great.
again, there are some really smart marketing companies out there. My advice is find ways to collaborate with them, whether they want to or not. But, I do this with charities. We'll write a book about a specific topic. For example, I'm working on with one with a school. We're going to put in a bunch of resources for parents. Here's the seasonal top 10 toys. Here's this, here's that. The school signs up for an Amazon affiliate account, and they get the money directly deposited in from Amazon when the parents buy something. And by the way, Amazon used to have a really amazing program. I think it was something like Operation Smiles, and they parked it because they weren't getting enough charities joining. And I was like, the problem is not the charities joining, it's the charities don't know how to earn money from, if you form a charity because you love dogs, doesn't mean you're good at marketing to dog lovers.
Right.
And honestly, that was, I think, a big strategic mistake. Amazon could have given the charities, here's the guidebook, here's the templates to announce what you're doing to your donors, to your sponsors, to your supporters.
Huh.
Now, I got to ask you a question because I think I know the answer, and if it's the wrong question, I'll rephrase it. But you've mentioned a couple of times that you offer travel and hotel and restaurant discount cards. I'm going to guess that the hotels and the travel and the restaurants aren't your primary client. Is that fair?
Well, I'm not sure if I follow the question, but we have two primary. Well, we serve multiple ways, and we solve problems for our hotel partners and restaurant partners, and more importantly, we solve problems for our members who join Marketing Boost. So we have a very affordable subscription model. People join Marketing Boost as a business owner or entrepreneur, and it gives them the ability to give away an unlimited amount of these travel incentives or restaurant incentives with whatever their call to action is. So we have revenue that we generate from business owners around the world that pay us that subscription fee monthly, which by the way, it's only $37 a month. So it's a no-brainer, easy decision to give us a try. And then the way it came about though is, we were in the travel space long before we got into the Marketing Boost business. And we wanted video reviews for one of our main travel sites, and we couldn't get hardly anybody to do it. So we came up with an incentive, and we said when our clients were traveling, and by the way, this tip I'm going to give is a really good idea for any business owner out there, because we all need social proof. You need a constant flow of new video of reviews coming in, whether they're written or videos and what have you. We needed video reviews at the time. So we came up with a survey, and here's the idea that I'd recommend. We do a survey when we expect them to be at their peak of happiness, which in our case was the day after they check into the hotel. So we'd send them an email and a text message to say, hey, how's the hotel living up to your expectation? What do you think of the hotel? What do you think of our service so far? Give us a star rating from 1 to 5. And if we got 4s and 5s, we would immediately send them a response, again, automated, and saying, thank you so much. We're thrilled that you're enjoying the hotel. Would you help us spread the word about that hotel brand and ours? And if you would film a selfie testimonial review from the hotel, pool, bar, restaurant, beach, if you'd brag about that hotel brand and ours on video, we'll reward you with a bonus trip in Orlando or Las Vegas. And of course, immediately we started getting dozens of these reviews in, and then hundreds, and then we had to stop the campaign because fulfilling those free trips we were giving away was expensive. So we went back to the hotel partners afterwards and said, what can we do you've got a problem and we have an idea. We think we can help you fill those empty rooms that you've got. Let's be honest, your hotel's never full year round. You're full on certain weekends, peak season, special events, holidays. But 70% of the year, you've got a bunch of empty rooms, and yet you still have all the same fixed costs, mortgage payments, staffing, maintenance, etc. And so we got a few hotels in Vegas and Orlando to participate, giving us rooms that would otherwise go empty. And now we could fulfill all those free trips we were giving away. And then we thought, can you imagine if we had hundreds of hotels around the world participating? We'd have a whole nother business. And that's what eventually became Marketing Boost today, where we're able to help hotels fill rooms that would otherwise go empty. And they're generating some revenue versus none. So the people are spending money at the bar, the pool, the gift shop, the excursion desks, the restaurants, the casino, the bar, etc. And so they're generating some revenue versus none. And the hotels love it. Obviously the consumer who got one of these incentives loves it because they're traveling for pennies on the dollar. And the Marketing Boost member is loving it because they're able to give away these perceived high value incentives for a very low cost. So we created what I call, a win-win-win for everybody. I hope that kind of answers your question about who the main client is. So we're helping, hotels, and we're helping our members.
Well, and that was my question was, because the reality is you and I just talked about not offering discounts, but from your members' point of view, they're offering an amazing value add. And by the way, for $37 a month, why wouldn't you? I mean, seriously, if you can give away, I know people that, they'll give away one grand prize draw, all expense paid trip to Mazatlan. Well, why not give everybody who enters a free night or something? Because that's the other part. From the hotel's point of view, you're adding value to them. The restaurant, I mean, every restaurant I know thinks, well, I just need to churn more tables. Well, that's a simple answer. How do you get more people to sit at those tables? The real question isn't just about churn. It's, you got to have people in those seats to churn them without them feeling like you're churning them. So that perfectly answered, because that's the thing. You found a really unique way. And I want to stress this from my perspective. small businesses can't often afford to come up with big things. But if you partner with big businesses, they'll offer you what to them is a small thing, but to your people is a big value. So
Exactly. Exactly.
I highly encourage Marco and I are going to have some more fun, but I just want to just pause and say, if you haven't checked out what Marco's doing, stop the video, go check it out, and then come back because we'll get to that point. But I think the whole point is how do you add value? Now, I'm going to ask you a couple more questions, and then unfortunately, we're almost out of time. That's a good sign when it blink and it's gone. First question is, how can a small business stand out in what's perceived to be a crowded space?
Well, yeah, that is obviously a challenge, right? We're all, many of us, if you don't have a crowded space, it's likely tough to do business as well, right? There's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur, in my opinion. Right now, there's uh, there's so many tools and affordable technology that it's great. On the other hand, you got a lot of competition, and so to stand out, you need to deliver uh, your products and services as promised, and then you need to add the value stacks that we've been talking about. What are, and there's a great book I recommend for that, just recently authored by what is Alex Harmosi, with 100 million offers. Make offers stand out so well that people feel stupid saying no to your offer. I strongly recommend that book. It's an easy way to help you define this and help create your unique offering, to stand out in a crowd. And then he also launched another book recently called 100 Million Leads, where he's helping, making it really easy to understand the process of generating leads, creating offers. And he doesn't talk about marketing boost, but if you add marketing boost to his process, you're only adding that, creating additional boom value stack. And it's tough to put in a quick answer to that question.
Yeah,
That's why I do recommend that book, or those books, as unique new steps that he shows on how to create those sales funnel landing pages, those value stack, and make your offers stand out from a crowd.
I love it. And one thing I'll throw in from my 2 cents, Fred Reicheld has a book called Winning on Purpose. If you haven't read it, you must. He's the original founder and creator of the Net Promoter Score, and he took years to write the second book, Winning on Purpose. But he talks about how people are using customer satisfaction and incentives to build loyalty. And one of the things I find fascinating is a lot of people, and I think you're going to be a good partner here. A lot of people are trying to get the next new customer. What about re-engaging, being McDonald's and re-engaging the existing customers? I have a book on that. I call it Gold in Your Backyard, because everybody seems to want to talk about net new customers. And I want to talk about turning existing customers into raving fans. And I feel like you guys do a lot of that, whether that's your stated purpose or not, just by focusing on value.
Absolutely. And that is, yeah, we don't make, it's not in our tagline, so to speak, but great point. And that is what a lot of our members that use Marketing Boost are doing with it, is creating those loyalty programs, re-engaging old databases, using the incentives as tools for engagement, for contests, for reasons to be sticky to your brand. And easy to do with the Marketing Boost incentives, as well as other creative ideas of your own. Like, give you a quick idea here. T-Mobile, here's a big brand everybody recognizes. T-Mobile was running a campaign, I think they still do, called T-Mobile Tuesdays, where they have surprise perks every Tuesday on their app, and
Yep.
they bring in other brands. So you get, specials from Puma or Taco Bell or Redbox, and they're working with a variety of other brands, and have surprise specials and bonuses and gamification on T-Mobile Tuesdays. It has nothing to do with the phone industry, nothing to do with your mobile phone, but they partner with others and continue to provide additional value for being a
Well, I,
T-Mobile member.
I think that there was a partnership once upon a time with the American Express people, and that's like an entire sub industry is, getting exclusive access to concert tickets. I know there was like a jewelry line where you could only buy it with an Amex. Like think about that as an exclusivity. And by the way, this doesn't have to be, a friend of mine was a marketer and he helped his clients get into the Amex program because if Amex promotes you to, and he worked with high ticket items, and Amex would actually send out his emails to their black card holders.
Cool.
And it's not a myth that there is a group of people who have black credit cards from Amex that have no limit and literally they buy whatever they want because they woke up today and said, these are the people that say, I want tacos. I'm going to book a private jet to go down to Mexico to have somebody make them for me fresh while I sit on the beach drinking margaritas mixed by, somebody who just processed the tequila. It hasn't even it's gone from the barrel to the glass. There's no bottle intervened. Um,
Yeah, there's definitely some of those. Like I'm down here in Mexico City at the Formula One races down here, and it's a, Rolex event, and people
yeah.
shuttling back and forth on helicopters from the rooftops of their hotels. So there's
Yep.
there is definitely a crowd for that, but uh, most of us don't have those clients at our fingertips. But
But if you did, I mean, I had a client once who spent 2 million on a private tent at a Formula One event. And I was I was his accountant and I was like, no, no, no. And he's like, but I want it. And I'm like, no, guess who won? He, he
yeah,
spent his 2 million and then ironically came back and complained that he'd spent 2 million. And I'm like, I told you so.
yeah,
He's like,
yeah,
but I was front, like you could see the rubber flying off the tires. And I'm like, there are people who will pay for that. And in his case, the number was 2 million. And I think he got to bring 100 of his closest friends and mooches and colleagues and things like that. And but again, I guarantee if somebody's a big Formula One fan, whenever they needed his product, guess who they were going to call?
right. I
And
remember that.
a single, in his case, he worked in oil and gas. A single purchase was worth 500,000 cash, and about 250 million, or sorry, 500,000 in cash and 250,000 in net profit.
Wow.
So, basically he needed to close 8 deals to recover his $2 million investment. And he got to walk around like royalty at Formula One. So
Mhm. Hmm. So yeah, it could pay off if you got the right product and margin.
yeah. But if
Uh,
you're selling a low price tag thing with a low margin, please don't spend 2 million on Formula One.
uh, absolutely not.
Love it. Now, my last question, and then I'll get to how people connect with you. Um, what are you seeing? What are some of the biggest draw cards that are bringing in new business right now? Or is that more conversation number two?
Yeah, that is as we talked about earlier, really those draw cards still work. What is your expertise? How can you put that down on paper, on video? Uh, People are looking for, people still need to find the authority or the expert for whatever product or service you offer. And because, whether you're a plumber, a realtor, candlestick maker, we all need those products and services at some point. And when we're ready to, look for your product or service, uh, then we're starting to look for, who we're going and we're searching, we're doing Google searches, we're doing, looking at reviews. And so now how do you stand out from the crowd there? And one of the things is you definitely need a lot of reviews, I think, and a lot of social proof. And you need to provide that value up front, which might be that free PDF download that, here's a free video training. Here's the top, 5 steps to the solution. You're making it easy for them to educate themselves on your product or service, which is setting you up as the expert and the authority, whether you, including, maybe providing those free, Zoom calls with you or your staff. And then, of course, incentivizing those, I think, is the ticket. I've seen that proven over and over. Using some sort of incentive. Obviously, I'm biased to promote Marketing Boost, but what are uh, I see in my inbox on LinkedIn, a lot of people, like, it's so competitive, right? I see people offering me, hey, I'll give you $100 Amazon gift card if you'll just join us on a Zoom call to see if it's a good fit for us to work together, and yada yada. But that kind of gift can cost hard dollars, right? You give somebody a
Yeah.
$100 Amazon gift card, that's a real $100 out of pocket just for the appointment. You better hope you convert a few of those.
Yeah.
Uh, with
And by the
the
way, coming back to know your numbers, you need to know that that's a good investment.
Right, and it may be, but they still work, whether it be gifting, and again, Black Friday's coming up, Cyber Monday, Cyber Week. It's an incredible time of the year to help to get people to take action to buy your product or service. Even, if you haven't thought about it, for Black Friday promotions, people will buy something they don't even, you could even sell, if you were a plumber, you could sell a prepackaged, on Black Friday, you could say, hey, buy this package and you've got the next, 3 visits prepaid for any plumbing needs you need over the next 24 months. Buy our pre-plumbing package, or whatever the heck you want to call it. And you could be generating cash flow on product services that you don't have to deliver, maybe never, because there's also a lot of breakage in some of that stuff.
Yep. Well, and
So
how many times have I had cards where I'm like, where did that go? You know, people forget things. So now, Marco, I could talk to you all day because this is literally one of my favorite topics, and I am passionate about value, not discount. I once got in a little bit of an internet fight with somebody because I said, discounting was lazy, and they took exception, and apparently I had attacked their cornerstone of their religion. But how can people get to know you? How can they connect with you? I think you mentioned you have a Facebook group. What's the best way to learn more about you and Marketing Boost?
yeah, I'd like to ask they go to marketingboostsolutions.com, marketingboostsolutions.com. From that website, there's links to our Marketing Boost travel incentives, our other software products that we recommend and use to, help to boost and grow your business. And there's links to our Facebook group, links to our podcast, and it's a little bit about everything there. Marketingboostsolutions.com is where to go. By the way, you can even sign up there for a free version of Marketing Boost with no credit card required. So if you want to test the program a little bit, see how it works, give yourself one of our complimentary hotel stays to test out, marketingboostsolutions.com, and no credit card required even to give yourself and test it out.
Awesome. Well, Marco, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I have a very sneaky suspicion my audience is going to beg me to have you back, but we'll let them. Maybe they have to sign up first to come back or something. We'll do something for my incentive community. But thank you for hanging out with me, and thank you for sharing some really brilliant nuggets with us today. So thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our show. We hope that you enjoyed this episode, and we invite you to either click the link below or scan the QR code to register and listen to other episodes of our podcast. Or if you think your business or you would be a great guest to be on our show, we're always looking for experts in one of the 9 elements of holistic wellness. We'd love to have you. You can either click the link below or you can scan the QR code and complete our speaker intake form. Thank you, and to your wellness.